Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on our learning series, this time about critical thinking. In previous videos, we have discussed about Excel, SQL, and communication skills. On that note, in this video, we are going to discuss about how important critical thinking is in a data analytics field. Also, we are going to give points about how a non-tech background person can get into analytics using that critical thinking, or how a tech background person can complement their skills with the critical thinking. And by touching on those notes, we'll also give you tips on how to improve your critical thinking skills. And let's start. Hey Santosh, so to start with, why or how it is important in a data analytics field? I mean, critical thinking is important in data analytics field.
To be honest, a lot of people here would have not even heard about the word critical thinking. So I'll just start with the definition of critical thinking. It's a definition that I thought from all working together. There's no standard dictionary of how this critical thinking is. So to me, critical thinking is something which you are able to solve the question faster and in the correct way. So if you just put it in a math, it's nothing but critical thinking is equal to sum of, how fast you can solve a problem into how quick you can solve it, how right you can solve it, right? Okay, starting with that, what is the importance of critical thinking? You see, critical thinking is the foundation of problem solving skill. So for an analyst, right, critical thinking helps in frame question, assess data, try to understand if there is any, meaningful decisions that can be taken from the data. That is all very important, that you can only come to a conclusion using critical thinking. And for a non-tech person or a tech person, critical thinking is very important because it helps you to adapt and excel in the field of analytics.
Okay, and when you discuss about these critical thinking, someone would like to develop it, but let's say I'm a fresher who is coming. Let's say it doesn't matter whether they are from tech background or non-tech background. As a fresher, how can someone develop this crucial skill?
As a fresher, if you ask me, critical thinking comes by solving and practicing again and again, right? It's not a skill that you can just sit and learn in like 3 hours watching a YouTube video. That's not how it works. You have to practice and practice again and again. For example, whenever you get a complex question, or whenever you get let's say a simple question, how are you going to break it down? How you're going to effectively understand and solve this? These are all parts of critical thinking. So it comes by practice, and that's how you can upskill your critical thinking, which will add as a very important skill set when you go for an interview and everything.
Okay, when you say it's an important skill set when you go for an interview, I want to understand how it's going to impact in your day-to-day job. Or maybe can you give an example about how critical thinking gave you, let's say, a breakthrough in the project that you worked with, or something like that, just for our audience to understand a little bit more clearly?
So, for example, let's say as a day-to-day analyst in an e-commerce website, one of my weekly work is to understand customer segmentation, looking at the e-commerce data, and whenever I bucket those customers into, let's say, segment of salary, non-salary, by the race or by the gender and everything, I need to have the critical thinking ability to know what to focus on this, like what kind of data. So I'm looking at a customer data. Should I go with the segmentation? If I do go with the segmentation, what is the right set of segmentation for this people? It depends on the states also. Let's say if I'm taking India or US, and the US I'm looking at a particular state. And for the particular state, I should know the geography. I should understand what type of segmentation I can do in this population. And when I go for a different set of states for the next week or next week, I should use my critical thinking ability to know that whether using the same set of Python code that I used for the previous state can be applied over here. So that's a nice example of why critical thinking is important, right?
Okay, and when it comes to critical thinking, sometimes people, they could oversee the importance of this, especially the ones who are coming from tech background. Because for people coming from non-tech background, they may leverage their critical thinking more than their technical skills. But someone who's coming from tech background, they may, just completely relying on their technical skills, which is, of course, important. But how important, or how critical thinking can complement someone's technical skill, especially someone who's a fresher coming from a tech background? How would it complement?
from taking from your words, just by relying on their tech skill and just by coding, no, this is something you can call as a technician, not an analyst. And what we hire for is an analyst. We don't just want to get a person who just is a data monger, which we just discussed on the previous video. We don't want you just to work on data, crunch numbers, give us the output. No, that is not expected from a person whom I'm hiring for an analyst. I can get it from a technician who knows how to write a SQL code. Critical thinking, this is where it takes you. You will just not be someone who's just crunching numbers. By having critical thinking, you'll be able to understand the data. You will be able to ask the right set of questions. You'll be come up with insights. You will be able to report it in such a way that people can understand, okay, this guy is an analyst, and how would differentiate an analyst from a technician. So that's where a critical thinking upskills a person, even if they have a good tech skill. You need critical thinking to ask the right set of questions to understand data.
Okay, fair enough. And is there any tips or advice that you may give to a fresher about how to balance the critical thinking and their technical skills?
I would say if you're spending 2 hours on your tech skill, you should at least spend 20 minutes on your non-tech companions, like coming from like our last video on communication skill and this video on critical thinking. So you should work 20 minutes on this. And I would say in order to expand your critical thinking, this is a personal advice that I give to my juniors, which was given to my senior. From my senior, I got it. He always tells me to work on my Sudoku and Rubik's Cube, because those both are math, basic math, but you will be able to know whether you solved it right or wrong in the instance you have finished. So this helps your critical thinking ability in combining it to a first answer, whether you're doing it the right way and how fast you're doing it. Try Rubik's Cube. There is a YouTube video called Rubik's 101, which will tell you the basics of how you solve a Rubik's Cube. And that is more than enough for a fresher to upskill his, critical thinking part by practicing again and again on a Rubik's Cube.
Okay, I'm also on that note, not just playing with Rubik's Cube and Sudoku. How could a fresher prepare themselves, let's say, prior to an interview? Because in an interview, as you said, the interviewers are looking for someone who can solve or who can critically think. So how can someone prepare themselves to just excel in the interview?
So we need to excel in an interview, right? If this is not a tech skill that you can exhibit directly. So if you're asking in SQL or Excel, you have practiced it, you can exhibit directly. So in order to showcase your critical thinking, the only way how people can judge you, I would say, is by whether you're able to, whenever they show you a very big problem, are you able to break it down into bits of pieces? Are you asking the right set of questions? Are you able to follow up on what the interviewer is asking? And are you able to crisply answer the right answers, right, from the question that is asked? So these are the ways that you can, or an interviewer can, judge your critical thinking. So don't shy away from asking the right set of questions. Don't shy away from breaking the complex problems into like 3 or 4 easy problems. So that's what I would say for a fresher. Just prepare beforehand, go through some of the questions, understand it, right? So ask the right set of questions and everything.
Okay, that's good. Yep. Well, I ran out of questions by now, so thank you very much for answering everything. And maybe let's touch base on something different in our next video. Since we already made 2 videos about non-tech skills, maybe let's once again dip into technical skills. Let's focus on visualization. Let's say, that's I wouldn't say that's completely technical skill, but it's also have mode of storytelling. So it complements both technical and non-technical skills. So probably our next video would be on visualizations. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned with us. Like and subscribe our videos, and just follow our channel for more of such content. And have a good day.
Bye.